Okay, so back to some true crime tonight, and then we don't know where we're going to be after that. Let me just get to this to make sure. That's weird. My chat's on the wrong side. I don't know. Something looks weird and different. I don't know what it is. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so did you guys watch the sentencing of Tracey Nix? Do you remember the Tracey Nix case? Tracey Nix is the Florida grandmother who had 2 grandchildren from the same daughter die in her care. The first was a little boy who drowned in a pond on their property, and the second was a 7-month-old Uriel, and that's who the trial was for, where she was convicted, and sentencing was held off to today. And she was in the courtroom. Her daughter gave a victim's impact statement. She spoke for a long time. She said that she still loved her mother, but her mother, she had to take a stand for her children and wanted her mother to serve time for what happened. They did have the doctor that they had during the trial come up again and speak about the medications. Her husband also spoke, Tracey's husband, the grandmother's husband, the grandfather. In the end, the judge said, sentenced her to the maximum, which was 60 months. It was 5 years. And yeah, I mean, let's see what's going on with that case. Okay, let's see how people feel about it and everything. Okay, let's. So she's from Hardy County, and she was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The jury did not find her guilty of aggravated manslaughter, but they found her guilty of leaving a child unattended in the vehicle longer than 15 minutes, which caused great bodily harm. 7-month-old Uriel, shock. Remember, the grandmother went out to lunch with friends, and I believe her mother was, I think this was her mother was getting her hair done, or it was November of 2022, and she died after being in that hot car for hours. She died of hyperthermia. And Tracey Nix said, and I quote, "This is perhaps where meds did come in. She got quiet, and I forgot that she was there. I just would never hurt them on purpose with all of my heart. I love your babies." Now, Ezra, the other child of the same parents, drowned before Uriel's death, and the daughter told the story of how she was told, I forget who told her, it was the husband, I believe, was just screaming about their son, and she went over there, of course, driving, how could you possibly drive hearing that news? And she saw a helicopter flying over to her parents' house, and she looked up at the helicopter, and she had a head-on collision with another car, and she apologized for hurting them that day, and that she was sorry, and she hurt herself and her baby, she said, because she had a placental abruption, I believe, and then she had to stay on bed rest. And she said, she went to the hospital, and the little boy was brain dead when he drowned in the pond, and they had to make the decision to take him off life support. And that, Uriel was her rainbow baby, was going to help her heal and move through this. They also have another son. And then, to lose her 7 months later. And she said that she went to I believe it was like a psychiatric unit, and she said I think she must have said nurses were talking about her as if she couldn't hear and saying things like that it was her fault or something. Why would she do that? Why would she leave the child with her mother? Stuff like that. So let's see. Tracey Nix said to the judge, I wake up every day and I think about it, and I go to bed every day and I think about it, and I will do that until I draw my last breath. I do want you to know that I'm in my own prison and it will last all of my life. The children's father gave an impact statement as well, and he said, and I quote, I am standing in here in front of you guys defending my children from a woman who took them away from us. To me, that is insane. Justice is what we are here for the memory of my kids. I just ask the judge, don't let this be in vain. That was their father, Drew Schock. And I'm trying to see if the judge said, and I quote, this defendant, like many other defendants facing prison sanctions before, is trying to avoid or lessen a prison sentence once arrested and after a jury finds them guilty. They justify what happened rather than accepting blame and truly convincing remorse. The grandchild Uriel Schock's tragedy is not an isolated incident. This is the second. The court watched and heard her interview. I do not believe she is showing remorse. I believe she is showing sorrow. It is impossible for a defendant who refuses to accept responsibility to show remorse for that offense. Sympathy is not the same as remorse. Sorrow is not the same as remorse. And then he said, this community must move past this case and leave Kayla and Drew Schock alone. Let them and their remaining 2 children live in peace. This family has lost 2 children, Ezra Schock and Uriel Schock. I wanted to go to the daughter's impact statement because she said, Kayla said, I hate that I have to choose. At her mother's sentencing, she asked the judge to honor her children's death, stating it doesn't lessen her love for her mother, but she has to stand up for her kids. She was my rainbow baby. That I told you that. She said, I have never felt so alone. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you about what she said. And it was just on the tip of my tongue, and now I've... Hold on a second. The Ezra died when he was 16 months old. Tracey Nix is 67. She is a former teacher and principal and a Sunday school teacher, right? Oh yeah, I wanted to get what she was saying when she was in that psychiatric ward. Okay. She said that to survive the court process, she had to find her strength in her voice. I just wanted this to stop. I just wanted this to end, but I had to seek justice for my daughter and my son because I was already forced to choose. Tracey spoke directly to Kayla. She said she wanted her daughter to know how much she was wanted and how much she is loved. Was I a perfect mom? No, but I love you, she said. She said she could not imagine how she would have acted if Kayla had been taken from her. I love my grandchildren and I would have done anything for them. Tracey said she agreed to take Uriel when Kayla had a hair appointment. The car seat was behind the driver's seat, and after lunch at Beef O'Brady's, she gave Uriel her bottle, and she fell asleep in the back seat. Then she said she remembered looking in the rearview mirror and not seeing anything, so she went into the house. Once she was inside, there was nothing to remind her she was in the car. Later, Tracey asked when Kayla came by for Uriel. She then opened the car door and realized Uriel was in there all along. She knew Uriel had passed. Tracey said she ran to the barn to look for something to hurt herself with, and she said, I wanted to be gone. She said then she fell down and asked God to take her because she didn't want to face Kayla and Drew. I'm broken about what happened. I didn't want to live at that moment, but I wasn't going to try to hide anything. Tracey then addressed her son-in-law, Drew, saying that whenever he is ready to talk, she will answer anything he wants to know. And she said, and I quote, I think you have the impression that I have not grieved and that I have not cared about your children. And that cannot be farther from the truth. Whatever your decision is, I want you to know that I'm already in prison. No one can do more for themselves than I have done to myself. I wake up every day and I think about it. I'm in my own prison and it will last all of my life. And the judge said, and I quote, I see her more concerned with her community image than the death of a child. He said he saw the video of her being questioned by the sheriff's office and that Uriel's death is not an isolated incident, it's the second death. But I wanted to get where the daughter, I'm surprised they're not saying more of what the daughter said, because I think what she said about the nurses in the psychiatric ward. Let me see here. Let me see here. Okay. I just want to see if what she says. See, because I know that I heard her saying that. I just wanted to get a verification on that. I know she said it was a horrible place, and there was a guy doing something like under the table while she was there, and but that she had to be. Let me just say something. Let me see here. Hold on one sec. Let me see if it's over here. All right, here we go. Let me see here. Nix, that's the husband. He said the news media and social media have been brutal to Tracey Nix. He said Tracey stayed in bed eating Oreos and ice cream. She watched TV all the time. Nix was the mental health expert hired by the defense. He said Ms. Nix, as sincere and honest. He talked about all her prescribed medications. He asked if putting a person of Tracey's age in prison is the best use of public money and that geriatrics don't do well in prison. Tracey took the stand. She explained that she always put the car seat behind the passenger seat so she could see the baby. But that day, Kayla, because of a car parked too close to the car, had to put the seat behind the driver's seat. She told, Tracey also told Drew and Kayla that she was not allowed to speak to them after Uriel's death. Okay, oh yeah, the judge, there was a story, I guess, about that, something about the diaper bag having no food in it and all of that stuff, and the judge was showing pictures, and he said it was like the most organized full diaper bag he's ever seen, never seen just a well-packed diaper bag, and because they were saying something like she was having to feed the baby, there was no food, she was having to feed it with a straw at the restaurant, like, I don't know where all of those lies came from, and so he blew that out of here. Let's see. Just trying to get... just trying to get what she said about being in that psychiatric psychiatric ward. Let's see what she said here. Somebody mentions that. Let me see. See, people are even saying it here too. Like, so they're blaming her. Why on earth would the daughter leave another child in her care? They just say it. So she was saying that, see, a lot of them are passing judgment on her. And I think that's what the judge was saying. Let them live their lives. He said about the community, you know. A lot of people... Yeah, a lot of people are saying, but I wanted to see what she said about, none of them are, Yeah, they're not going to say it yet, but she does say, and I don't know whether it was the nurses or who it was, but she said they were talking about her. I don't know if any of you were listening to that and heard it. But yeah, very sad situation all around. Yeah, very sad. Just trying to see if I could see. Let me see here. Okay, it's a very... Yeah, she was on, the mother was, grandmother was on Ambien and stuff. Yeah, there are things that are a little strange. Like some people mentioned that the police went to the house to tell her that her baby was dead. Now, I just don't understand. They just go there and say your baby's dead. So she wasn't at the hair salon anymore. You know, I mean, people say, well, why didn't she go right there and pick the baby up? But, you know, I don't know. Maybe who knows, right? But it's it's a horrible situation. And I've heard that was the first time that they had left her with her. And then I've also heard, no, they had left the daughter with her many times. So I don't know. And I don't know what the whole thing with the baby not having food and feeding it through a straw and all of that, the judge was addressing. Like, where did that come up? He said, I saw, like everybody, I saw the videos at, what was it, Beefo Brady's. Someone said that, I guess the grandmother, is friends with her in-laws, or my husband, or no, maybe it's this daughter that's friends with the in-laws. Said they believe the first child's death was an accident. She's not really saying too much. I don't know. There's a lot of inconsistencies in this. I don't know. Because the grandfather testified that they had the baby sometimes multiple times a week. That's what I had heard. And then they're saying this was the first time she had the baby. It's really odd. And then remember, the mother was supposed to be going Christmas shopping or something with an older child. I think it was her sister's child or something. I don't know, it's very... very sad case, but there was stuff I didn't... I don't know. I guess there'll be. I just really wanted to see a transcript of what she said, who she said was talking about her. I don't know if it was the other. No, I think it was the staff that was. She was saying. Okay. Well, I'll have to. I'm not going to keep you anymore on that. Let me see if you guys say anything about that. Did you guys hear that or not? Let me go back to this. 2 babies, yeah. They happen way too often in Australia too. Well, apparently, okay. I think the judge said that too, that the defense would not let the prosecution's psychiatrist evaluate her, so that she wouldn't consent to that. So that was mentioned as well. But there was this part where the daughter was saying she was asked to be taken to, and which sounded like a psychiatric unit, but that it was horrific, and that she said I was laying there and they were talking on the other side, and I believe she said that they were blaming her and saying, why in the world would you have left that child with your mother when you already lost a child in the care of your mother, that was in the care of your mother. I don't know. I believe that's what she said today. But there was, I don't know what the judge was talking about the diaper bag, not having the food, feeding with a straw, and saying all that was lies. Like, what was that about? Did anybody watch this other than me? Hmm. Let me see here. Judge, I'm just going to see if there's anything about the judge in that diaper bag. Here's what, yeah, okay. So, somebody said something here about the straw. There's a lot of people that are being really, really brutal in comments towards the parents. I mean, I don't mean the grandparents, I mean the parents. And people are saying it was 4 to 5 days a week, and whereas then I'm also hearing, no, it was the first time. So I don't know. Seems to be a lot of see. And there was something about the diaper bag, and it's driving me crazy now. About feeding, they had to feed the baby with a straw, water or something. Oh, here it is. Okay. The ladies at lunch testified Grandma was giving the baby water by using the end of a straw, which made me wonder why she didn't give her bottle or a sippy cup since she had the diaper bag. See, and someone's saying that that's not true. And there was a video. But why would they come in and lie? I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't know. Sure, more will be coming out now that the sentencing is there. Let me see here if there's one more thing here. Let's see if there's anything here. Okay, so Drew Schock talked about how he has to relive that moment every single day. My wife and I are the ones who are going to have to live with this. We're here for justice. That's what we're here. As parents, what would you guys do in my position? He said, as a parent, if this happened not once but twice, all we can do as parents is try to see through. That's all we can do, try to make sure this doesn't happen again, because nobody thought it would happen a second time. And then Kayla said, and I quote, I wanted to save something. Oh, so that's why she's saying she left her with the mother. She said, turning towards her mother, I still love you. I hate this. I hate that I have to choose, but you know I have to. It doesn't change my heart. She said to survive the court process, she had to find her strength and her voice. I just wanted this to stop. Let's see. But see, that doesn't talk about... See, later she asks her husband, the grandmother asks the husband, when did Kayla come by for Uriel? She then opens the car door and realizes Uriel was in there all along. I don't know, it's just heart-wrenching. Very sad all around. Okay, let's talk about, so Monica Sementilli, if you've been following this trial like we have, the opening arguments lasted 2 days from the prosecutor. She said she's going to take every bit of that time, so she has spent an entire day with the closing arguments, and she's just... Literally, when she did the opening arguments, she tried the entire case, and in the opening arguments, she just outlined every single thing she was going to put up there, like she said, and she did that and more during the trial, and now she's recapping it all. But she's going on and on about how, all of the defense saying, Fabio was worth more to her alive, and she's saying no, how can you be saying that? And she's just poking holes in all of Monica's stuff and saying that when she was supposed to be grieving her husband and putting these like really sad posts on Instagram, she was sending pornographic images to Robert Baker, which were going into his Dropbox, and she was doing that at all these inappropriate times. She was going out for what she called karaoke, but it wasn't. She was swinging and going to Vegas and doing all this stuff, and she just kept hounding Fabio's work about his insurance She needed his insurance. She never told them that she needed a new security system. She was never afraid to leave her kids home, where if you didn't know who did that and you just thought it was somebody that broke in your house, why would you ever even want to stay there? Other people that were staying with her were scared, but she wasn't scared. She wasn't scared to leave her kids home alone while she was out gallivanting with Robert Baker. And so we've just heard a recap of everything. She'll probably, who knows when she'll finish tomorrow, and if the defense has enough time, then they'll have to do jury instructions. Will it go to the jury tomorrow? Who knows? We don't know yet, so just have to more on of that. And then this Maui doctor, the one that bashed his wife with the rocks and tried to throw her off the cliff, and then somebody, bystander, called 911. So we're going to talk about this Maui doctor and see the updates, because the wife has filed a restraining order against him, obviously. All right, let me get this here. So there's quite a few updates here. So the wife, Ariel Koning, 36 years old, said that before her husband attempted to murder her with a rock and tried to shove her off a cliff, that he had essayed her and assaulted her for months. Dr. Koning, the 46-year-old Maui anesthesiologist who was originally from Pennsylvania, was indicted on the attack that took place on March 24th. Ariel filed a petition for a temporary restraining order Thursday, today, or was it today? I think it might have been today, in Maui Family Court, seeking to have her husband vacate their home and keep from contacting her, their two children, who are 2 years old and 4 years old, and other family members. In the filing, she said that her husband has essayed and assaulted her in the recent months. He accused his wife of having an affair, which led to extreme jealousy on his part. Since then, he has attempted to control and monitor all of her communication, she said in this filing. The petition said the couple had been in therapy and counseling, and she recounted the March 24th attack. She said that her husband had planned a weekend trip in Oahu to celebrate her birthday and suggested that they go on a hike at the Pali Lookout. While there, they took a selfie near the cliff's edge. Then the wife said in this filing that she asked her husband to move so she could get away from the edge because she felt dizzy. She said when she got close to her husband, he grabbed her by her upper arms and started pushing her back towards the cliff's edge. He was yelling something to the effect of, "Get back over there, I'm so effing sick of you," as he continued to push her. She said she thought he was joking, but she quickly realized he was seriously trying to make her fall off the cliff. So she said she threw herself on the ground and the husband got on top of her and started to wrestle with her. She was screaming, asking, yelling, screaming for him to stop and think about the children. She said she would have died if she fell off the cliff. And she said that he took out a syringe with an unknown substance and attempted to inject her with it. She grabbed it, tried to throw it out of his reach, but he had another, and he began looking for what she believed. He had another vial, looking for another syringe. She bit her husband's forearm, and then he grabbed a rock and he bashed her in the head at least 10 times. I don't know how he didn't kill her. I just don't know how. Resulting in severe lacerations to her face and scalp and bruises to her body. 2 witnesses then shouted they were calling 911, and the husband stopped. At the bottom of the trail, Ariel met with police and was transported to the hospital. She said that she later learned her husband had FaceTimed his adult son after the attack, with blood visibly on him, and told him, "I just tried to kill Ari, but she got away." He allegedly told his son he wanted to kill himself by jumping off a cliff. She said that she was fearful of her if her husband was released. He'll return to Maui and attempt to harm her or the children. So a judge on Friday, this is last week, signed the order. It expires in September and forces Dr. Koenig to vacate the home and stay away from the family. Hearing date is scheduled for April 11th, and he is in jail on $5 million bail. And Ariel said to still be recovering from the assault, and her attorney says she is focusing on recovery at home in Maui with the support of her family. Let me see here. The Koenig's housekeeper said, and I quote, she is a special person and she didn't deserve this. And she said it's hard to fathom, it's hard to grasp the severity of this tragic incident. I didn't think that this was something he would ever do. Okay, so that's the update on that. So now I've covered all of that, so there's no clickbait there. Hi, Pudding. Hi, Al. Hi, Gail. Hello, Harp. Hello, Murder of Crows. How are you? Okay, let's look at what else is going on. What else is... I told you about the Green Beret, that his wife was charged with his murder, right? That torso that was found in that pond that was finally identified as his remains, and the wife has been charged. I told you that, right? I told you that yesterday, I think. Okay, hang on a moment. A missing pregnant teen allegedly found with the 40-year-old father of the unborn child 2 months after disappearing.